Hi everyone, this is Gregoire, aka Greg from Greg's Whiskey Guide. Sorry, I have to restart the video because of some bad throat going whiskey. So yeah, this is a second video of this new, shorter, hopefully, series of reviews of a unique whiskey. Even if I cannot help to put a bit this in perspective shortly, but yeah. So today this is Ben Nevis 10, official Ben Nevis 10 years old, one from 2018. And how do I know? It's because it's on the bottle, but also because I know that the relaunch of the 10 years old that was a bit discontinued did affect the label. They changed a bit the way the number 10 is displayed, and this stripped line was not before passing in the middle of the 10, even if it's under. Now it is in the middle of the 10, and you know by this that it is 2018 and 19 and maybe more. We don't know if this will last a long time. Ben Nevis does not produce a lot of references, a lot of expressions, and so we have this. We have still on the shelves, maybe not for long, the McDonald traditional no age statement pitted expression of it, which I recommend as well. And we have some, from time to time, some single cask, some store picks, and also the 14 years old last year, which I haven't tried, sorry, the chance to try it. Ben Nevis is a bit of a particular case in Scottish single malt history. This distillery was founded in 1825. It's located in the West Highlands. It's very isolated. It's close to Ben Nevis, which means Mountain Nevis, by the way, which is around 1,000 meters, if I'm not mistaken, or 900. Ben Nevis belongs, unlike many other distilleries, but like some, for a concurrent group, Japanese group. Ben Nevis belongs to the NIKKA Whisky Distilling company, which is all owned by ASAHI Brewery. Sorry. And Ben Nevis, basically since the takeover of the distillery in 1989, sends 75% of its production, which is 2 million liters per annum, to Japan to fill the Japanese blends of this brand, NIKKA. In Japanese regulations, and we will see that in forthcoming, I don't know when, but I will do a live about Japanese whiskeys soon. If you follow the channel, you've seen that I started to do some special country themed live shows, starting with the United States last week and the Ireland this week, and coming next the Swedish whiskies, and then the German whiskies, and there will be others. So to put a long story short, the Japanese whiskies, for the present regulations, it might change, I don't know, soon, they're not obliged to state if the content of their whiskies are Japanese, coming from Japanese distilleries, distilled in Japan, matured in Japan, and bottled in Japan. The only thing they has to do is bottled in Japan. So what they do often, they buy in bulk, or they trade through brokers stocks of Scottish whiskey and Canadian whiskey, for instance. They ship it to Japan, then sometimes they put a second or third maturation in a local wine cask or stuff, and then they bottle it as Japanese whiskey. For the most honest companies, they state it on the labels or in the advertising or marketing. For the others, you have to guess. How can you guess? And I will come to this during this Japanese Life. It's simple. There's a shortage of aged whiskies for the four big distillery names in Japan. So for the NIKKA group, YOICHI and MIYAGIKYO, and for the Suntory group, Hakushu and Yamazaki. Yamazaki, by the way, were the first Japanese distillery to open 1983, while YOICHI, my second favorite distillery, mind you, opened in 1934. Some said this BEN NEVIS is basically only containing YOICHI Single Malt. I think it is wrong, because I know quite well, I think, YOICHI Distillery. I'm trying their whiskies. I'm a collector of it also since 2004, and it is very distinctive style. I don't think this content is not Scottish. Once again, the BEN NEVIS production mainly flies to Japan to fill the black NIKKA, which is in an opaque bottle and not often available in Europe. It's for Asian market. Black NIKKA is a blended whiskey, colored, chill filtered, lots of caramel, additional caramel in there, very average, I have to say, and bottled of course at 40%. Then BEN NEVIS enters also in compositions of other whiskies, and I've been told by BEN NEVIS master distiller, so it's not just hear of or rumors. You can find it in some references that Alas is a bit discontinued now, called NIKKA Pure Malt Black and NIKKA Pure Malt Red, as well as the old NIKKA Orange Label blended whiskey, which Alas has been replaced by the NIKKA Days, which I don't like and don't find it interesting at all. But the way they blended these pure malts, say pure malts, that blended malts, it means in Scottish language or international, it is still enough balance to give the chance to the Japanese distillery to shine. But about this one, even if there are common notes with the Japanese distillery, it's still something different, and I believe something unique to the distillery. So the distillery relaunched this, and it is said by a serious blogger that as they didn't want to do other labeling and produce several kinds of whiskey, for now they only have this one and probably the traditional, if it's not discontinued, I'm not sure. They had aged stock in the warehouses, and they used this aged stock to fill the bottles of the 10 years old. So it is said that part of it, and probably the half of it or more, is in fact an 18 years old whiskey and not a 10 years old. And this shows when you taste it, honestly. About color, we don't know if it's chill filtered or colored. I think it's probably both. So not much things to say about the color, except it's a golden yellow with some density in it, some viscosity. Okay, let's go on the nose. So at first there's something a bit disturbing, that you don't know if it's really a stable or a cow stable or farmy note or a buttery one, a bit rancid, a bit old butter. It's not super pleasant, but it's still old-fashioned single malt whiskey. Then what is very nice is that right after that you have all this beautiful heady flowers bouquet with some hint of violet coming through, and then a lot of different things, some heather honey, which has also in common with Highland Park Distillery trademark style, traditional at least. Has some aged oak, not wood charred, but aged oak, almost sandalwood, and beautiful oak. A hint of coffee, ripe fruit. Yeah, some sweet spices and nutmeg, cinnamon, not much cloves. And then the beautiful balsamic note, which is typical from Ben Nevis, mixed with oriental notes, crushed almonds, crushed dates, crushed figs, and the melting of this on the nose, and you will see it's the same on the palate, is beautiful. I have my notes here, so I'll just have a look if I didn't forget something. Oh yeah, black tea and black chocolate, sorry. When you take more time to assess a whiskey, you get more things sometimes, not always. There you go. Yeah, this is very subtle, so it's difficult to point out every single note if you don't take a lot of time, and I'm watching the time because I don't want this to be too long for you guys. This time I didn't burn my throat. I had to begin again the video just before that, after 10 minutes. Yeah. Lovely profile once again, mixing old style of whiskey, mainly old style of whiskey, let's say, okay, with something very unusual, unique. I think goes well after the old more. I did a video of it, because those two distilleries has really something unique, different, and I like it. Oh yeah, this walnut note is very characteristic to Ben Nevis, in my opinion. Walnut, what was the other one? Balsamic note, old balsamic vinegar, of course. But the sugar comes from the heather honey, a bit some demerara as well, I think, sugar. Some old coffee where you can put some Armagnac in it, if that makes sense. On the ending of it, try it, could be nice. And there, this oriental side goes on and on with the figs, the dates, the almonds and nuts, walnuts, even some hazelnut. And this what makes this Ben Nevis unique, in my opinion. Lovely, lovely, lovely mouthfeel, lovely palate, with a hint of violet coming on. I'm not against violet if it's not too prominent. And yeah, the dark chocolate mixed with, maybe with milk chocolate as well, that makes it more complex. And I have the chance to try some single cask. I have the 25 years old 1984. I have a 15 years old Oloroso French Topic, cask strength. Both are cask strength. This one is 46%. I didn't mention it. Yeah. Overall, a very nice experience. Let's do another sip and then put some water. Yeah, big malty side as well. Malted barley with wrapped in a nice demerara sugar. This is a beautiful whiskey, I have to say. Especially, I used to try the older ones. There were more balsamic notes. It was more rough around the edges. Obviously, there was younger. I'm sure this one is not only 10 years old. Really, it feels there's some depth in there, more complexity than before. Yeah, we have an Ovomaltine, which is, I think, in English Ovaltine, which is for breakfast, you know, powder, chocolate powder with malt. Yeah, there's even a note I cannot tell, which is for the Greek audience, which is 1% maybe, Mavro halva in it. Mavro halva. So could translate that in English maybe in black um, peanut filled cake with chocolate, kind of halva. I don't know if you know that. It's Greek, but only from I think from Thessaloniki, the the town where my mother was born. She doesn't have internet, but yes, to her, suffering a bit in those hard times. So yeah, this one will go for my mother. Ooh, yeah, there's really that sense of Greek pastry with chocolate and hazelnut, very dense one. If you eat a piece of this, oof, you have eaten for the rest of the day, if I may say. But it's very caloric, but it's a beautiful dessert. Yeah, what else did I found? Yeah, I got some blown tobacco for cigars on the nose. I have it also on the, yeah, raisins. I forgot to mention all kinds of raisins, sultanas, etc. Um, yeah, basically, I think I have it all. Slight, very, very slight on the background winey touch, which again tells us there's some olors of sherry in there, a bit oxidative. Yeah, fantastic, honestly, very good whiskey. Let's be less, more moderate than in written reviews, but my marks, having tasted several times, will be, I think I'm going to enhance it even. Wait a minute. Yeah. 91.5. 91.5 out of 100. There you go. It's getting long, so I have to stop. Thank you for following this new series, and hope you're all safe and good and keeping the moral high with some good juice. So, Slanjava, everybody. Take care.